Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Spice Cup. It is the 5th round, and in this round I'm playing against International Master Safal Bora, who I've played like 50 times online, and I've played once over the board in 2016 in like the 4th round of the World Open in Philadelphia. Friendly reminder, all my courses are 33% off, use code SPICE. I started doing that at the beginning because y'all don't watch till the end, or if you do, I love you, but I sound a little crusty because it's 7:55 a.m., I just woke up, literally. I haven't even had coffee. Decided to make this for you guys. I didn't make it last night because I was super tired. And the title of the video is what it is, and you would think, oh, Levy lost his game. That's why he made not so fast. All right, you don't know what's coming for you. This game I'll tell you why I had the thought of the title of this video during this game. Anyway, Sval plays knight f3. Not surprising. He plays knight f3 all the time. He played it against me in 2016. Very flexible setup. I mean, I've played g6, I've played d5 here. My preparation for this tournament was that against d5, g3, I was going to play knight d7. The point of knight d7 is that you want to play e5, and you don't want to put your knight in front of your c-pawn. Because this setup, I mean, this is a setup. It's not great for black. It's playable, but I don't really like it. So he plays d4. And here's the thing, he has thousands of games on his chess.com account, not a whole lot of games in knight d7. I've also played this maybe once, and I was like, well, I have a file that I'm studying before the game, we'll see what happens. And he plays d4 to prevent me from playing e5, and now I rotate the knight to b6. This looks very obscure, but the point is that you prevent white from going for a typical Catalan setup, and it's actually kind of interesting. And if white just develops very normally, castles, sometimes white plays a4, and black plays a5 to not get hit with a5. You can get a setup that looks extremely solid. I mean, you play h6, so your bishop gets out, and black has almost no problems, like c6. So he did play a4, but then he played knight c3. And this setup with knight c3, I was fairly certain that if I develop my bishop to f5, he is going to go after it. But as far as I knew, that was actually fine, and I could give him the bishop, and then I could set up on the light squares. I can make an impenetrable fortress on the light squares. I've played a few blitz games. They've gone pretty well. So I played bishop f5, and then he went here. Now, looking back at it, probably I should have danced around. And this is kind of one of the dangers that comes with playing a brand new thing, is that I hadn't seen this specific move order. I've seen knight c3 standalone, a4 standalone, and there's actually a difference with knight h4 and if this knight is on this square, which is, something that I could have studied a touch better. But I went for this setup where I give him the bishop, and then I'm just going to build my light squares. I'm going to play c6, he'll put his bishop there, but it's not going to be so great. And he has one central pawn break, which is e4, and as long as I can shut that down, I should be more or less okay. Here, this bishop, can come out this way or whatever. But he's still blitzing all his moves. He fired off this move. I had never seen this before. The idea to play bishop g5, I was like, is this bishop just going to die? Why is he giving me back the bishop pair? Why isn't he just trying to play for e4, rook d1, defend this pawn, because my queen and my bishop will open it up and hit it together. So then he played bishop g5. I was like, all right, I'm going to castle and then get out of the pin. And he just took, he just traded the bishop and played b3. And I looked at this afterward, with the engine. Everything he played was Stockfish's top choice. Everything. And I'm like, this is so stupid. This has never been played before. Maybe in some Lead Chess Blitz games. I don't know. Anywhere. And Chess Cube Blitz games. Why does he know this? What the hell, man? This is something he has barely ever faced, and yet my dude told me after the game, he's like, yeah, it's actually, verbatim, he said, even though there's opposite colored bishops, Stockfish thinks it's +1. And the dude's not wrong. Stockfish thinks this is plus 0.9 for white. I'm sitting there what the... Huh? Why does he know this? So now, it's actually really interesting. My position is super hard to play because despite me being rock solid, only one guy has a plan in this position. And that's the dude with the white pieces. That's the dude with the white piece. He's going to put his rooks like this, move his knight, and play c4. That's his whole plan. And there's nothing I can do. I literally can do absolutely nothing. So now my dumbass is sitting there like, well, time to just kind of shuffle around, anticipate. Like, I don't have a plan. If I play c5 or something along those lines, like I try to break out, then he lands his queen right here. Hey, motorcyclist, it's 8 in the morning. You're not impressing anybody. I hate people with loud vehicles. I don't know if you guys can even hear that. You probably think I'm just talking to my wall, but I can hear it. Like, he just puts his queen here and I die. I mean, this is just a horrible position. I have no moves. I have to wait for him to do something. Which is why I'm sitting there like, bro, I hate chess. Like, I really hate this game sometimes. I don't hate it overall. This morning I had a very good experience with preparation. What? This is ridiculous. Like, I knew what he was going to play. I thought I had prepared a relatively good line. My dude just knew it better, more extensively. He's like, yeah, I studied this a long time ago. Like, what? What? I've never played this before. Maybe like one time in a blitz game. Oh my God. I was like, man, I hate chess. Like, I literally just got to sit there and wait for him to do something. It's like I signed a fight contract, but right before the fight, they came to my locker room. They're like, you don't throw a punch. What? So, you know, here is me just trying to aimlessly shuffle and wait for him to play c4. And he played c4, and I came up with a defensive idea to blockade his position with a bishop right here. But the thing is, he goes knight f4, and now he has another threat. And like, for example, if I don't know, if I like do nothing, in many positions, he could do something like this. I really didn't want to allow his queen to come to c7. If I took on d5, I was not at all sure that this position was good for me. Knight versus bishop, and now, and by the way, if you're wondering why that and not this, opposite colored bishops are far more drawing, even down a pawn. Whereas knight versus this is instructive. Whereas knight versus bishop is absolutely not a draw, especially if you're going to be a pawn up with dominant control of the position. So again, I played bishop a3 to just deflect his rook, and finally he closed the door on the position, played the move c5, and I left my bishop there to die with the intention to break out with b6. Okay, and I had to play this precisely, because there were some positions where he could, if I like didn't play this right, play this move and completely shut down b6. Luckily, you know, I anticipated this. Like, if this was the position, I'm completely lost because I can't get enough counterplay. But I did it in the right way. I played b6, and then I created this, what I thought was impenetrable fortress. I was like, okay, buddy, I know you're better, and you have what's called an outside pass pawn. It's protected, and it's always going to be a threat to advance, and I always have to do something about it. But as long as I can, control these two squares, you got nothing. What are you going to do? Let's go, huh? Yeah, come and get some. Come get some. Except my position sucks massively. And I still hate chess, by the way. Like, that hasn't gone away. Also, one more thing about my opponent. My dude plays mad fast. He just plays super fast. And he was always trying to keep a time advantage. But right around, like, the next, 5 to 6 moves, that time gap that was once 25 minutes because of how well he knew the opening and how much I hated my position is now getting down to about 5-6 minutes. So I'm like, all right, we catching up on the clock. Let's go. Let's go. We're not going to lose this game. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. But again, it's still up to him to get my hands off the cliff and push me off of it. Like, I'm hanging off the cliff with my hands, like a Lion King. It's basically what's going on. Spoiler. So now I'm thinking, all right, what's he going to do? Is he going to pawn break somehow? Is he going to try to trade queens? That's actually a very interesting idea. So he starts shuffling, and here I play some funny moves. I'm like, I can't do anything, so whenever you're ready to come up with a plan, Mr. Bora, by all means. And then he does this. So he shuffled, and he got to a situation where he's ready to play queen f4. Now, if he trades queens stupidly and allows my king to defend my pawn, I'm not convinced he's even winning anymore. I think he has an advantage. Oh, maybe he is. Maybe he can still advance very slowly and break. But I thought this was not the right way to go. Clearly neither did he, because he played h3, g4. And I'm like, okay, at this point, I'm like, all right, he found a way through. It's probably over. What are you going to do? I still literally can't move. Even for as much progress as has been made in this game, it's a completely miserable 40 moves. I'm just like, all right, he's going to take. I got like maybe 4 minutes here. He has like 15. Now, I start making a lot of blunders. Like, if you followed this game live, you must have thought I was the biggest moron of all time. Rest assured that if you were following this game live, it's move 41. You would have hung a queen, 4 rooks, 3 bishops, And like, I mean, don't worry about it. Don't worry what Stockfish says about the eval. I am a moron, by the way, like removed from what you thought about this game. But now basically I just tried to play moves that looked like they made sense. So I played f5, which attacked his queen. Now I understood I was weakening my king, but I wasn't really afraid of that because his bishop can't get in, and like this break loses a lot of its power. That's kind of what I thought. Now here, I was just sitting at the board waiting for him to play this move. If he just gets this to an endgame, see, now my king is far away from my queen. I messed up. But this is lost because I just have no way to protect this. Bishop f1 always gets my rook. And if I play rook c8, he just plays bishop takes d5. And if I play knight b8, I don't know. I think I would rather get a colonoscopy than play knight b8. Yeah, I mean, I basically have no moves. He has the pressure, he has the bishop, he has the outside pass pawn. It's completely miserable position, which is fitting because I'm in misery, the state. But he played bishop h3. And then he played this, and here he played the best move of his entire attack. He played f3, and I was like, oh, yeah, it's over. Because he's getting the rooks. That's it. Like, I mean, what am I going to do? Also, at any point, he can probably break with e4. I have nothing. But again, I gotta make moves. I can't just resign. So I'm like, all right, knight f8, queen e7. I don't know. He played here, which didn't really make... I mean, it made sense, I guess. Like, he wanted to play here. Or like rook g5 to like take on f5. So I was like, okay, queen trade. Now, what should he do here for the second time? Have you been paying attention? He should trade queens. It's kind of hard to take your foot off the gas. But just go trade queens and go for my weakness. My position's just spread way too thin. I was planning to play like here. Oh, no, I was going to go here. And then if he took, I was going to go take rook e8. This was my idea. Yeah, but it's losing because he just gets my other pawn. So I can get 2 pawns myself, but he's winning because he has these passed pawns. Yeah. So this was lost. And then he played queen g5. And I was like, what is he doing? Also at this point, Safal started shaking his head, which just made me think that he was screwing up. Like, he couldn't get through my defense, so I was getting hyped. I was like, oh shit, like, I'm the GOAT of defense, let's go. But I still don't know what the hell to do. Even, he's so frustrated with his position, but I have no clue what the hell I'm supposed to play. Okay, so I played this move. Now I was actually starting to come up with some really sinister ideas. Like, for example, if he played like rook g1 here and completely abandoned the side of the board, I'm not even sure he's any better because I was gonna go rook h8. And like if queen g6, I was gonna go like take. And there's some moments I can break with c5. Like c5 was always on my mind, you know? If he abandons the c file completely, I can just break. Now my weakness is gone, my knight is gonna get active. I don't know what the hell is going on anymore. But again, he's playing really quickly. So he's playing really quickly and I don't have a huge amount of time. And I can tell the tide is kind of turning, but my position's still super freaking unpleasant. So I'm like, all right, he's going for this pawn. I go here, queen h6. I'm attacking e3. So now if he takes, that's a big problem because I get in, which is really bad. And actually my king is safer than his somehow. So here he plays this move, which, and I knew this was bad. Like, I knew that shutting this down, shutting out your bishop, shutting out your queen was definitely not the right way to go, but I still don't have a lot of moves. I don't have a lot of moves, so I threw my rook over here. He unpinned his king. And now, and for the next 2 moves, I could have changed the game completely. And I didn't see it because this move didn't look possible. This move just didn't look possible at all. And here is where people in the live chat almost had an aneurysm. Here I have the absolutely insane move, c5. Which doesn't make any sense because he just takes and I'm not winning this pawn back. But the idea is to not win the pawn back. The idea is to play d4. And if he takes that, to take on f4. It has nothing to do with these pawns. Which I mean, I should have been more vigilant, you know? I should have been like, oh, on move 54 of this game where I'm literally getting smothered to death with a pillow, my opponent will let me up and treat me to a nice dinner. Like, well, I don't know, some people are into that. Like, I was waiting for this moment. I just didn't think it would come in the form of a patient double pawn sacrifice. You know, that's where That's where the level of the players, comes into. And by the way, then he brought his rook over here. Now c5 is winning for black because I'm actually threatening to take on c5. So now I'm threatening to go knight takes or rook takes and jump into e4 like this, or take on b3. Like, this is no joke. But I kind of went for a similar idea, but in a slightly different way. I went like rook h7, and I was going to try to double my rooks, and when I saw that he was just going to defend himself, I decided to rotate my knight, and that was my last moment to play c5. Oh, but this is absolutely not the end of the game, make no mistake. He goes queen e1, I go knight e8, and I realize that he has a5. Now again, I'm playing on minutes, like I have 1 minute maybe, I'm like, okay. He played a5, so if I play rook a6, he takes my pawn. If I play rook anywhere, he takes c6. How am I going to do this? Let's play rook b7. Now here the engine gives the absolutely ridiculous rook b5, rook c6, and rook a5 with the intention to go here. And if I play rook b5 and he plays, like, for example, a6 or even rook c5, the engine thinks that white is completely, this is not the right way to go at all. But I played rook b7, and I was like, okay, take all my pawns. I literally was like, take all my pawns. Go ahead. I'm gonna go knight f6. I'm gonna go knight f6, and now I have some crazy ideas. One of my crazy ideas here is like maybe sacking my queen and going for I don't know, but like something, and maybe I have a draw. Maybe I have a draw, like rook e3. It's probably losing, probably completely lost, but maybe. I have no idea. Maybe. It's losing for sure, but maybe I have this idea. And he called he got scared of my bluff, and he took. And I was like, yo, no way. No, I am 100% certain a computer would figure this out with black because I have too much pressure. He's playing without two pieces, basically. And I'm threatening to come in here, hit this. The only thing I need to figure out is how to set up my rooks to prevent the pawns and the checks. I thought about doing this and just running my king to g7, so letting my rooks do the job. I also thought about playing rook here and doing something like just giving up this pawn. That was my chess base giving me a notification. The Wi-Fi at this hotel likes to crash every 10 minutes, so it just crashed in the middle of recording. But I'm recording, so we're cool. And chess.com still lets me use the board. They haven't kicked me out. Yeah. Welcome to Missouri. Rook d7. My phone doesn't even connect to the internet at this hotel. So, a7. And I didn't play the defense perfectly. I know I'm doing my best. But he can't really push, so I was kind of happy. And then, somewhere around here, I figured that his winning plan was to do something with his b-pawn. And then here he just completely shocked me by playing this. Not this, but this. And this. I was like, what is he doing? What is he doing? But then I'm like, okay, I guess he's preventing rook c2, and he's just gonna... And that's what he did. I played a move, and then he played b4. Now, here was apparently my last chance. Here, the engine gives king g7 as a good move. The idea of king g7 is to sidestep queen a6 check at all moments. And if b4... This is the top engine move. Yo, I don't care. Shut up, computer. Queen h4. Queen h4 to go queen e1, I guess. And if rook g3 to play rook c1 to not allow this to come with check. And if a8 queen, now I take it, he takes, and I have rook c2, and I win his rook, and I win the game. King g7. Yeah, that move is a little bit above my pay grade. You see, what I did here, folks, is I kind of went for counterplay in the same way. The problem is queen a6. And he takes, everything in his position holds together. And here, nice little finishing touch. Queen takes c8 check. And if I take, he promotes. I was getting excited. I was like, yo, he's about to start checking me, and I'm just going to run away. I'm just going to run. I mean, it's probably still losing, but I'm like, my king's gonna go over here. Yeah, so, I mean, what to say about this game? Literally, the best summation of this game is I hate chess. Yesterday, I was really feeling this way. I don't even feel bad that I lost. I mean, you know, he was kind of the deserved winner from the beginning. But what I told him after the game was, man, you made that a lot more exciting than necessary. Some of these defensive, I think King G7 is borderline impossible unless you have like 10 minutes on the clock. I mean, yeah. And on the one hand, you can say I should have managed my time better. On the other hand, I had 1 minute on move 60. It's a 90-minute game, you know. Like he had like 7 minutes at the end. So I can't be too disappointed. But yeah, man, this is brutal. Chess is so. I played 140 moves yesterday in 2 games, so I was exhausted. I couldn't keep my head up. I had a headache. I mean, I was so tired. Luckily today there's only 1 game, so my plan is actually to go play tennis with Eric Rosen. Yeah. I'll see you all for round 6. Get out of here.